Hello everyone, apologies for being late. Please just let me know if you can hear me, if my sound is good. I was just playing hide and seek with myself again. I do apologize, but welcome for everyone joining us and joining me for the live. Looking forward to this. This is going to be amazing. Our topic is intolerance to uncertainty, and we're going to dive deeper into it and explore what it actually is and what it causes. But first of all, I want to start off by asking a question to you all. I'm going to make it a bit of an interactive session. My question to you is just to start off, what does the word uncertainty mean to you? Okay, so I'm waiting for your answers and you're all laughing at me for playing hide and seek again. Yes, Paula, no spiders this time. Spider's safe today. I just entered the wrong broadcast room again, but you know it's my specialty. Just making sure, can you guys hear me? Um, can you guys hear me? Okay, thank you, Hannah, for answering my question. I thought I'm talking to myself again in another hide and seek room. So yes, welcome to the live once again, and I'm waiting for your answers as to what the word uncertainty means to you. I just want to do a little bit of a breaker, and then we can dive deeper. I don't know who's behind Coaching Minds today. Okay, so my comments are going. Okay, so we've got one answer so far. Uncertainty for me is the unknown. Yes, it's unknown. Sorry, I need to work my finger correctly here. And thank you that you guys can hear me. Is there anyone else that can? Yes, I can read you. I'm just battling with my phone. As I said, it's slipping and sliding. Okay, thank you, Paul. So now I know I can call you Coaching Minds for today. So we've got, it is the unknown. I've delved into what uncertainty, the definition of uncertainty. It is a limited knowledge on a future outcome. And there is probably more than one possible outcome. And our inability to foretell the consequences of our decisions. This is what makes us feel that uncertainty. So based on that, we're going to dive deeper into what intolerance of uncertainty actually means. So I'm going to read out the definition because it's quite a bit of a long one. So I'll be reading it out and then we will be diving deeper into it. Definition is, it is a trait whereby an individual has negative beliefs about uncertainty in general and its consequences. As a result, they act with negative thoughts, feelings, and actions towards uncertain situations. So that's the main definition of what intolerance to uncertainty means. I've got another question for you. Is, can uncertainty be avoided and briefly explain why you think uncertainty can be avoided. You guys are extremely quiet or typing long comments. I'm going to briefly explain why uncertainty cannot be avoided. Uncertainty is unavoidable part of daily life. We cannot see the future, therefore we can never be certain on exactly what will happen each day or outcomes on situations and decisions we've made. So if we go into depth on what is going to cause that uncertainty, um, is like Paul said earlier, it's the fear of the unknown. Daniel, if we live in the present and not think to the future, no, there are too many things out of our control. Frank, thank you for your comment. Really appreciate it. If I look at Paula, because we can't predict the future. Priya, I'm just sharing all your answers that you've given me. Can't be avoided. What has to happen will happen. What need to do is to detach and adapt accordingly. Four, we can't avoid it, but we can dissolve it. Ironically, the only certainty we have is that everything is uncertain. Well, that's a beautiful comment, and it actually makes so much sense because everything is uncertain. But why do we have this intolerance to the uncertainty? And why do we feel uncertain? For me, it is perfectly okay to feel uncertain and uncomfortable with different situations. For example, going to an unknown destination, meeting new people, and starting a new job. There's a lot of things that makes us feel uncertain, but it's okay. It is basically how we're going to handle that uncertainty and move forward and bridge the gaps to to not feel that uncertain and not to get anxious, which is going to lead to my next point. Intolerance to uncertainty causes us to react with worrying. We do avoidance, we do eliminations. By doing the actions above, what feelings or emotions are caused in our behavior. We are starting, when you start worrying, when you start avoiding things, when you start eliminating things, you start to be more stressful, you start to have anxiety, and that leads us to tiring behaviors. And I've done a little bit of self-reflection. I just want to put some more comments on here. Hannah is saying, past experiences could change the way someone fears and doesn't fear uncertainty. Paula, it could be fear of not knowing what to do. So a lot of uncertainty you guys are sharing is based on fear. And that fear, once again, leads to anxiety. It leads to stress. It leads to feeling that you eliminate things. And those tiring behaviors that I've mentioned. For me, what I did on my self-reflection, I want you guys also to share your self-reflections. What behaviors do you show when feeling uncertain? If you are comfortable, share them in the comments. For me, it was about seeking reassurance during my marriage and even after. I constantly seeked other people's reassurance because my confidence was low. And until today, I still do that. I still need reassurance, and I still ask people to reassurance. There's certain traits that we all have. When we feel uncertain, we start doing these things. Maybe we don't realize it all the time. Um, and this is what this research I did into intolerance thereof, where I got to some deep self-reflection points. As I said, for me was seeking the reassurance from others because I didn't trust myself. Um, and in not trusting myself, my confidence was low. And the root cause actually was that I was uncertain in myself. It wasn't that my confidence was, yes, it came to low confidence because I've been uncertain. I've been made to feel that way, to doubt myself um, through manipulation. So I'm going to read your comments now. I just want to go down the list of a few points that I've made. Um, certain people will go and they make long and detailed lists and more to-do lists, which they do more than once per day because it becomes obsessive, because you feel uncertain and you lack trust, you lack confidence, and you just want to void that part. So you breach it by doing certain things. Double checking once again. I constantly did this. Still at today I do this. Um, Once again, it's your thoughts, confidence, and lack of trust within myself. That's lack of trust that I have in myself. So I constantly recheck myself and double check, and I will ask someone, "Do you think I've made the right decision? What do you think I should do?" Those things, and it adds to anxiety and it adds to your stress. I'm just going back in comments here. Paula Adams is saying, but if we embrace that fear and educate ourselves, then we can be more in control of our outcome. Paula. I used to ask Frank what he thought about what I was thinking and figured out I was only seeking his opinion to validate what I was thinking. Yes, Paula, it comes back to that reinsurance, that double checking. And you don't realize that the root cause is because you're feeling uncertain. And um, going back, let's build that confidence. Um, that there's a few points that I'll come to later about building confidence. Paul is saying, personally, I think it's more of a Western conventional way of learning that causes intolerance. We always seek to understand by logic and patterns. We always want things explained in words. Paul, that is brilliant. That makes total sense because this is how we are. We always want that um, validation in words. We want to understand things instead of just accepting them. We go towards, I want a deeper understanding. I want the knowledge to understand why we are doing things. Why am I uncertain? And what is going to happen? I want to know what's going to happen tomorrow instead of just accepting the reality of we will never know the future. We can plan for the future, yes, but you will never know what's going to happen tomorrow. Hannah, my self-reflection is that when I look back, as long as the decisions I make are true, my morals and values at the time, the best outcome will be the result, even when I have been uncertain. Hannah, I'm glad you came to that reflection and that understanding and the trust within yourself. And this is follow up on what Paula is saying, what she used to ask Frank. She says, so I don't ask him anymore because I feel more confident within myself. So Paula, you've had that reality, you have that reflection, you know that you are, I mean, we all know you've become so much more confident in the 2, 3 years that I've known you, we've seen such a big change in you, and so grateful for that, and the confidence that you have, and that being comfortable with yourself and who you are is truly showing, and you're affecting so many people around you with your just your love, your care, and your guidance that you give and messages. It just shows us all how confident you've become over. For me, I know I've known you for a longer period of time. So for me, it's about 2 or 3 years, I think, already. Daniel, you saying, if I'm uncertain, I have a tendency to overthink the situation and use negative automatic thoughts. Daniel, I think we're all guilty of that. We all do that at times. I still overthink. Today, I've realized how much I was overthinking, and in which circumstances, and when do I start to overthink, and how to overcome that, and just to create that awareness of, listen, I'm now uncertain, and I am overthinking the situation, and I'm making a thing much more complicated than it actually is. And it leads to my next point about what the causes. We sometimes tend to do delegation. Well, we don't want to delegate because we don't trust people to do it the way that we want it done, and therefore we end up doing it ourselves. That's another form of when you are uncertain. Another point that we do when we are uncertain is we procrastination. I've done that. I shared it with you guys with the school for Vian. I procrastinated for months on that, just to take that first step. And when I became aware of it, it was because I was uncertain as to being a new school. How does it operate? Who must I contact? Will they accept him into the school? All those type of things was for me a point when I became aware. I said, okay, I need to close this loop because it's causing me anxiety. I'm starting to stress, and that boils over to my child because he doesn't know what's going to happen next year because I'm not doing anything about it. And I started off, I sent the school an email, and within 3 days, he was enrolled, accepted, put on the books. Now, my next step is to getting the school uniforms that he needs. Paula is saying, exactly, the more confident I am, then the less I need to be reassured. The more I'm open and dive into things that will challenge me. Absolutely, Paula. We get challenged daily. And we do that overcoming of uncertainty. But once again, as I said, I'm keep on coming back to the awareness. We need to create that awareness, and we need to step away from that negative thought pattern that we have. And another thing that we do is you create a distraction for yourself by always being busy. You always have that saying, I'm busy. I don't have time for this. It's because we're uncertain in what we want to achieve. We are uncertain in what the situation will bring for us tomorrow or the next day or in the future. And intolerance to that uncertainty brings us all back to disorders, general anxiety disorder, stress, avoiding certain going to places, avoiding certain people, and avoiding certain situations due to feeling uncertain. So we're going to bridge that gap by um, creating that awareness as to not to feel so much uncertain, and that we can grow our confidence. And there's steps that we can create this. All I was saying, now I try to dive in because I think too much. I might self-sabotage myself and therefore bring me back to uncertainty. Exactly. It's creating that thought that once you get that thought of being, I just want to grab my book here. Once you grab the thought of, you need to let it go. You need to change that negative thought to a positive. And we need to act on that. And I want you guys to share with me, what do you do when you realize that you're feeling uncertain and that you are procrastinating, and when you become anxious, what do you do to correct yourself, to correct that behavior, to come back to being positive? Daniel is saying, for me, being aware that I am uncertain and the negative thoughts I'm having is the first step in doing things I can do to put myself into presence and calming my mind. I'm just going to reread it. For me, being aware that I'm uncertain and the negative thoughts I'm having is the first step in doing things I can do to put myself into the presence and calming my mind. Priya, you're saying, I think also it's a matter of us pointing out what is in our control and what is not. Absolutely. It's that acceptance. If you can't control a situation, let's take our current situation with lockdowns and wearing masks. There's nothing you can do to change that, but you can adapt. And that's where we come in with adaptability and flexibility. If you can't adapt to a new situation, you are going to struggle. You're going to feel uncertain, and it's going to cause you stress and anxiety. And therefore, you need those steps to curb it. So let's see how we can reduce uncertainty. I've come across a thing, they call it, not a method. It's called the Apple Way. If you go, the A stands for aware, which is what I've been talking about the whole time. Notice the need to gain certainty, because you want to go from being uncertain to being certain. The P is pause. Once you feel that uncertainty and you have that awareness that this situation is creating stress and anxiety for me and feeling uncertainty, and now you're aware of it, then you pause. Don't react as you normally would, or don't react at all, but pause, breathe, pull back, and um, tell yourself just, sorry, tell yourself it's no, don't worry, and you need to go talking, and the need for there is no need to gain that certainty. Just pause, relax, breathe, and then you see how you're going to turn that worry into a certain situation. The L stands for let go. Needing certainty, don't respond. Um, let it float away. Don't respond to that thought. Um, be aware of it and let it float. Because you're not going to, in that moment, solve that uncertain situation. But once again, grab that thought and let it go. And then you go to explore. You explore the present moment. Right now, things are okay. I'm fine. I'm relaxed. Then you breathe and then shift your focus to something else. Um, as I said, in that moment, you can't do anything regarding that uncertain situation. You can't change it, but you never know what's going to come from it. So relax, breathe, let the thought go, but explore. Go see how you can change it. Your focus, change it to something else positive that you're busy with, that is going well, and that you have certainty on. And also, we need to challenge the need for certainty. If something is uncertain, if tomorrow is uncertain, if you're worrying about your new job, like me today, I was so worried about this live, and I'm still nervous, and it feels to me like I'm rambling and I'm not getting my point across. And it's because I'm feeling uncertain in what I'm busy sharing with you guys, and I know it's going to be okay because I know with one point someone is going to take something valuable away from here, and I might open up something to you guys that you didn't know about, or that you weren't aware of. And I know some of my points will touch you deeply, and you will take it away from here, and you will learn from it. Priya is saying, with negative thoughts, for me, immediately acting on it with a positive action. Paula, Priya, you're exactly the same than me. You know, I do that all the time. And it's key because it also depends on your negative thought, where it comes from. It comes back to the word explore. Go and explore where it's coming from. Find out for yourself why that negative thought came up. Just investigate it. And then, as you said, change it to a positive. What can you change about it? If it's something that you can't change, that you don't have control over, it's one of those thoughts that you take note of and you let it float away in a bubble. Because if you keep that thought in your mind, you're going to become stressful. You're going to become anxious. And we need to do less on our stress. We need to be less anxious. And these are points how we can curb it. Paula is saying, I love the idea of exploring. Yes, definitely. We have to explore. Otherwise, we're not going to learn and we're not going to grow. The JR is saying, I write or journal my negative thoughts. Exactly, because you are giving your outing to that. You're not keeping it inside. By writing it down, you're dealing with it. And you can always reflect back later when your situation became more positive. You can reflect, and you can see, you know what, that wasn't so negative. It was actually a positive for me. Thank you, Daniel. You're saying you're doing a great job, and it has helped me learn about the Apple method and to see everyone's perspective. Thank you, Daniel. What we will do is we'll work together, then we'll put the Apple method in the community for everyone to see and to better understand it. And because it was quite interesting the way that they presented. And I think it's definitely worthwhile sharing. Jay is saying, what's the trigger on my negative thoughts? This is something I try to reflect on. Exactly. It's going deep within yourself. It's going to that root cause and understand why you have that negative thought and where it came from. I've got several triggers that come up every now and again, and several, and it takes a lot of reflection, meditation, and talking about it. Talk to it with someone that you're close with in your close circle, and deal with that trigger, because we need to heal that trigger in order for it not to happen or continue happening, because that again, it causes you stress, anxiety, and it makes you feel uncertain. Once you feel that you're uncertain, and it affects all aspects of our lives. Paula is saying most of my uncertainty now comes from triggers from past, but I do have an awareness of this, so I can change my thoughts easily. Exactly, Paula. I think you and me are in the same boat there. A lot of my things comes from the past, and we have to deal with it. We have to heal. Um, if you don't, it's going to continue with you in the future, and you're going to carry it with you, and you're going to become more negative, and that's not going to be to your benefit, and it's not going to be to the benefit of people around you. And we need to, as I said, my whole thing is here, for my whole idea with this live was to bring to you guys attention about that there is uncertainty in our lives, and intolerance. I never knew that we are intolerant to uncertainty, and what the signs were, and what it actually was, because it's small little things, but if we don't take note of it, and we don't attend to it, and we're not aware of it, it becomes a big thing. And most often, if you don't deal with these things, your anxiety, your stress will lead to depression at the end of the day. So before getting to that step, this is the awareness I want to create, that we are intolerant, and it can be overcome. We can't take uncertainty away. It will always be there. It's part of life. But we can be more aware, and we can overcome it. There is methods that we can do, like the Apple one. I will definitely share it with you guys in the community. And this is basically what I've had for today, is just to bring it to your attention and see what reactions you have because you're feeling uncertain. As I said, um, you you start being busy, you procrastinate, um, you double check everything, you ask for reassurance all the time, and then you need to go look, where does that reassurance comes from that you need? Why am I double checking things? And we can double check from the littlest thing. Milk in the fridge. You can go check 3, 4 times if there's milk in the fridge. And it's because you are feeling uncertain. Why are you feeling uncertain? I know in my situation was, for instance, if I referred to milk in the fridge, I would go double check, because it would have been said to me that you buy milk, and I would start second guessing myself, because it would have been asked 3, 4 times in one day. So you get into that habit of checking. And with that, it's basically breaking your trust in yourself, and you start doubting yourself. And at the end of the day, it comes down to confidence, and it's all things that we need to work on. Paula, you are saying we need to empower ourselves and challenge ourselves to be at ease with unknown. Absolutely. Um, it's something that I've learned. I'm leaving everything that I can't control. I'm just letting it go. My mom is always, she actually said to me, I don't understand how you can be this calm. You, she stresses like this and over everything, and she makes work for herself. And she will say, she actually said to us, she'll rather do the dishes because we don't do it her way. But to me, it's feeling uncertain in herself. She's very, I think, has to be done right now. Don't tell her to wait. And she actually shared a story with me about her dad that once asked her to make, I think she was younger, she didn't give me her age, but he asked her to go and make tea. And she was busy reading a story and she said to him, I'll do it right now. I'll do it. Give me 5 minutes. 5 minutes came and she was still not making the tea. He got so upset he tore her magazine. Now I actually understand why she is like that. Because that is what he created in her. And she's never had the opportunity like we have to deal with these things and to work through them and to see a different perspective. And I mean, she's old now, so to change her is going to be difficult. Um, Paul is saying, love the Apple method, Adele. Thank you for sharing this. I'll definitely share it in detail. Um, Paula is saying, as I grow in this community where I know I am safe, I can see I have many things to offer. Absolutely, Paula. Every single one of us, and thanks to Paul for starting this, has really grown and found things in ourselves that we never thought possible. We are saying changing the way we look at it. Exactly. We need to, it comes down to perspective, thoughts. I had a piece here, I didn't write it down now. I actually shared it earlier in the other session, how things are interacting, your actions, your thoughts. I can't remember the third word. I keep on forgetting the third word. But they all interact and they integrate. And by changing the one, you will change the rest. For instance, if you have a negative thought, you can be aware of it, you can change it, and then you will change your behavior, you will change your actions. I will share the whole little sentence with you later. I've now lost my piece of paper, but I basically wanted to leave you today with a question. Also, how we can um, act when we're feeling uncertain. When an uncertain situation arises for you, I'm going to leave you with this question that you can ask yourself. As soon as you realize or become aware that you are feeling uncertain, ask yourself this question. Do uncertain events or situations always turn out negative? I mean, we all go through negative situations. Do they always, if you are, if it's uncertain, does it always turn out to stay negative? I mean, my situations, everything has actually come out so much more positive. Although the situation was negative and uncertain, you have to have that belief that everything is going to be okay. This has happened for a reason. And you need to trust this process. Just take those smaller steps. And those smaller steps will help you to overcome your uncertainty. But I'm leaving you with, as I said, I'm leaving you with that question. First of all, I just want to thank everyone for joining us, for sharing your thoughts, for answering the questions that I've asked. I really appreciate it. And I think even from your comments, we all have learned something. And I'm looking forward to engaging with you in the community. and answering questions. If you have some questions, reach out, just send us a message. Any one of us will gladly will be there for you. Yeah, so I'm going to sign off and thank you very much for joining me. So here's the question: do uncertain events or situations always turn out negative? Thank you guys. Sending you much love. Bye.